Hello and welcome to this Photoshop course. In this course, we're going to learn about one of Adobe's greatest programs, which is Photoshop. You've probably heard a lot about it on social media. Maybe you've seen some photo manipulations, some posters, some cards. And Photoshop is a program that you can basically create anything with. So there's no limit to whether it's a photo, whether it's an animation, an illustration, or a logo. Photoshop allows you to create all of that in just one program. Now, it's not a simple program as you would expect. It will take a little time for you guys to learn how to work with it, but in this course, we're going to go over on how to create certain things, and that way we get to learn how to use Photoshop. Now, unlike other programs where you would learn each of these tools and learn each of these tabs, personally, I don't think that's a good way to learn Photoshop because there's just so much to learn, and in order to memorize all of that, you would get really confused and bothered. So the best way to learn Photoshop is through practice. And that's what we're going to do in this course. So instead of me telling you what this tool is, we're going to see, like if we are going to make a poster, you will learn how to use the following tools while applying those tools to make a poster. So yeah, that's what we're going to learn in this course. I hope you guys will be able to pick a lot of things in this course and you would be able to create your own amazing works, share them online, maybe teach them to friends and families. And just knowing Photoshop on its own is a big flex. Nowadays, the minimum requirements for most jobs is knowing Photoshop. And again, there is no limit to it. So you could be working as an illustrator, as a photo editor, an animator. All of these things mostly have a minimum requirement of knowing Photoshop. So if you know Photoshop and you have already passed those minimum requirements, and you would have an easier time getting jobs, getting projects, being able to create your own things. Now, these images that you see right now, they're looking really surreal. It looks really real, but also really fake at the same time. And this is just a few of the examples of what you can do with Photoshop. You can actually composite a work of art with this program. And you can see that we got a human subject, but we have something that does not look like you would be able to picture it in real life. Or like this, for example, maybe some of this. And there's a wide variety of the things that you can do. And if you look up here, the most famous thing you could do with Photoshop is 1, create compositions such as this, and 2, manipulate images. So now that we're in the composites tab, we can see all of these things. And what that means is that each of these images, like let's go in here, they're made of so many layers and so many adjustments. And it might look like it took maybe a paintbrush and some colors, but these are actually different images combined with adjustments to make it look like a natural, realistic image. Or like this one. These works usually take hours and sometimes days, but the end results are amazing and they're really great for your portfolio. We got some simple stuff here where you just take a subject and put a custom background. Here's another one. And this is just one of the examples that you can do. You can create maybe superhero, like this girl over here, superhero composites, maybe a dystopian one, a dog playing a sport, a kid fishing in the house. You know, all of these amazing works can be done with Photoshop, and I'm sure that after this course, with a little bit of practice, you guys will be able to do the same. And let's go back, and there was another thing that I wanted to show. Let's search Photoshop manipulation. There it is. Now, as the word says, Photoshop manipulation is where you would take a normal image and you would manipulate it into a form of art or a really surreal image like this one right here. Here we have a turtle with a shark inside and a castle on top. And whether the images are yours or not, you can create Photoshop manipulation. Now, apart from photos, you can also do some graphic design work. Let's have a look. And again, Photoshop gives you a lot of options over textures, colors, maybe some 3D work, text, and so much more that we will see. But Photoshop is used for graphic design, but if you want to take graphic design a step further, you would use Adobe Illustrator. And fun fact, Illustrator came before Photoshop, but a lot of people, myself included, I use Photoshop for my graphic design work because you have more control over the shadowing, the mock-ups. If you want to maybe put your package design on a empty package, like a white package, Photoshop is a better place for that. But you would use Illustrator to create illustrations such as these. Illustrator makes it a lot more simpler to work with shapes compared to Photoshop, and it doesn't have those layers, so things wouldn't be looking like this where there's like thousands of layers and it gets confusing. That's why they use Illustrator for illustrations, maybe logos, and Photoshop for maybe package design, photo manipulation, texturing, and all that. So now that we know what we can create with Photoshop, although let's also do a little, I'll show you guys the posters as well. There we are. Most posters are, almost all posters are made on Photoshop because again, you have the control over the image. Oh, there we go. The image, you got the shapes, you got the shadows, the textures. Here we have another one. You can also put text. And you can bring it all together to create amazing posters, maybe for your school, your work, a family event, a birthday party. And there we are. And I could just go on with the examples of what you can make with Photoshop, but we will learn those throughout the course. So without further ado, let's get started.